When I was 19 and I was at university, I was going to drink in bars or attend crazy evenings at home. One evening around 12:30 a.m., I had fun drinking with classmates. Then I decided to go home, but being a stupid and reckless person, I forgotten the keys to my house. At the time, I still lived with my parents, so I was excluded from the house. I didn't want to wake them up because I knew my strict father would have gone mad. I finally called my friend Andrew, who was still awake, and he authorized me to spend the night at his home. He was also a student who lived with his parents. His house was large and had 6 bedrooms. He told me that his house apparently was haunted by an old woman and a lady with red hair, but I never paid attention to it. I arrived at his house around 1:06 a.m., and at that time I was not drunk, and I was drained, but I was tired, but I was still paying attention to my environment, and I had a good balance. He and his little brother Mark went to the kitchen and prepared tea. I was at the front door of the kitchen, and inside the kitchen, on the left side, there was another door. This door was the washing room, and most of the time it was open. While I was standing at the entrance to the kitchen, Mark, in front of me, started talking about Power Rangers and Super Sentai. While we discussed a little, I noticed someone standing in the darkness of the toilets. No light was lit in this room, but the light of the kitchen was brilliant enough for us to see what or that was inside. While Mark spoke to me, someone captured my gaze. I looked at them. Then I looked at her, nodding my head. Then I looked again and I noticed the silhouette. She was an old woman with short and curly white hair, wearing a slightly light purple-pink blouse and an apron. She stood there, facing the wall and the washing machine, her back turned towards me, as in the film The Blair Witch Project. I looked at it again to make sure it was not my imagination, and this time I felt his presence. While Mark continued to speak to me, this old lady stayed there in silence without moving once. I had never met this woman, and I was surprised to see her. I assumed that she was their grandmother, and I thought it was perhaps very rude. They were talking to me and did not present her. It had to do a minute and a half while she was standing there, facing the wall, not allowing me to see her face. I was going to greet her and say to her, "Hey guys, why didn't you introduce me to this charming lady?" And finally I decided to do it, but when I was about to open my mouth and recognize its existence, it disappeared in the blink of an eye. The feeling of his presence disappeared in an instant. I was stunned and speechless. I could swear there was a woman in the toilet. I said to myself, damn, there was a real woman. I saw her. And Mark stopped talking.